Dang. So the last time I made a video about Final Fantasy was way back when. We were talking about December of last year, almost 13, well, not 13, 7 months. Woo! All right. So, in a persevering and share perseverance, you need to try to find joy when it comes to playing Final Fantasy 14. And that comes in a sense of that just do whatever that you'd like to do. I know that a lot of people are saying nowadays that 14 is dead, there's nothing to do, the progress style goal and all that fun stuff. It's just not fun. I mean, sure, we did recently got the new relic weapon, which in my opinion is kind of a bust because I see it going back to the form of doing Hildebrand again, and I don't like doing Hildebrand. What do I mean by that? There was a fate grind, and then after the fate grind, that was it. We have a Boja S like instance, and it was fun to do for a couple of days, but I just did the bare minimum and just kind of got out because I don't find it to be fun. Not in the sense of like, phantom jobs and whatnot, but more so in the sense of that I really don't have time to sit down and be grinding that as much as I would like to. Well, at least I would say that, but I recently got fired, so surprise. But no, on a serious note, there is something about 14 that I'm kind of just iffy on. Not really iffy, but more so of a way of that it doesn't really draw me in now as much as it used to. And by that, I mean, I would come in every day, I would grind, do dailies, tombstones, grinds, whatever, whatever. And then I'll wait in Party Fighter in order to do the newest Savage, newest Extremes. But I completely stopped doing that in the sense of that I just don't have time, and personally, I just don't care. I had a static to play to do all of that, and that was fun to do. I'm not even gonna lie, it was so fun to play with my static. But life happens and work happens. Taking classes at night, so now I don't have really time to sit down and grind like I used to. And I think that's what's kind of making me fall away from the game. The entirety of me playing as a healer, and as you see in the background of me doing a sage in a dungeon, I really like it, but I still feel like it's kind of dull and bland in the sense of that if done well, especially as me playing as a sage, there is no reason for me to heal and whatnot unless in order for me to get my resources, which you will see me do often. And even still, like, I don't really get resources that well. I think one of the other DPS dies, but that again is just something that they'll just learn when they do the dungeon more. I don't find myself being a healer practically necessary. Not like it's necessary for doing savages and extremes and ultimates, and of course, doing that it's required. But at what point does do I have to where I have to sit down and focus in? Maybe for the first few dungeons, maybe then I won't DPS and I will just, focus on mechanics, figuring out mechanics, and do all of this, that, and the third. But after, maybe two, three, four times running it, maybe, like in a week or so, I finally get it down. I figure out where I can heal, figure out where I don't have to heal. I can figure out when I do my OGCDs, all that fun stuff. And as long as, the tank is using reprisal on their cooldowns and whatnot, there is no need for me to actually sit down and focusing on, like healing and just sit down on mechanics. And then it's just in a weird spot for me. Like, I enjoy healing, but it's just in such a weird spot for me where I feel like I can just kind of turn my brain off for a bit and not focusing on anything else. Which again turns on to my biggest problem is that I want to do all these in-game content. I haven't cleared Recreation Savage yet because class and work has taken over from me and I have not done it. The group of people that I play with kept on having problems and we weren't able to clear it. And these are things that I want to do, but now because we are so far within the patch, there is almost no reason to do it unless I'm willing to join a farm party. And you know what they say about farm parties? It's all a trap. It's all a trap. But with that being said, though, that would in one way be the best part. The best part. The best thing to do when it comes to doing something like that. If I want to actually get the clear. But more over than that, the main thing I want to talk about is that we are week 12, I would like to think. Like we are so far into this expansion patch that why is everything still kind of capped, if you get what I'm saying? I mean, it's kind of hindering that we are still capped at 450 tombstones. And not only that, we can still only get, lockout in the dungeons, even though I don't do extreme raids or whatever. But even in the sense of the normal 8-man, we can still only get one sword. And I need to double check, but I'm pretty sure you still need 7 swords in order to get the tome weapon. And then after that, what's up? And I think that's one thing that I hope that Square actually addresses later on in the future. Maybe, not 8 weeks in, because I think 8 weeks is probably the bare minimum, because at that point, one of your classes should be fully kitted out. With that being said, I'm talking about kitted out being like, okay, I probably find this entire raid tier 8 weeks. I got my 8 books, so I can either get the chest piece or I can get the weapon. And I think after that, it's perfectly fine just to unlock it. Don't have the catcher mechanic just yet. And by catcher mechanic, I'm talking mainly about the No. Actually, yes, do that. I say do that. About 8 weeks, you want to have it unlocked, and then maybe like week 10, week 12. Make it so that you can have the augmented crafting gear. Even still, I think the augmented crafting gear is kind of a huge scam in the sense of that it's augmented, but you have tomes and you have all this other stuff. It is only there if you don't have the tomes in order to get the full gear. But even at that, at 450, 900 every 2 weeks, you'll be fully, well, not best in slot, but you'll be fully maxed out gear in a matter of about a month, 2 months, really. If you keep at it. Actually, maybe not 2 months. Well, 450, 900 is 825 for body and legs. So that's 1800, and that is what? So yeah, in about 2-3 months, you'll be all fully kitted out in all tome gear if you actually stick to it. And then you may want to throw in another week or two just for the relic weapon for the augmented tome weapon. And then at that point, your entire at least one job at your main is entirely kitted out with full tome gears, whatever. And then at that point, there's no way to augment it. There is no way to do any of that. We have hunts so we can get sack and nuts, but sack and nuts will only give us previous tier stuff. We have to wait for a 24-man in order to get the next coin, in order to get the next tier of weapon, next tier upgrade. But even still, whether you get Twine or Shine, you will only be able to upgrade one or the other. You can't even upgrade your weapon fully, but at this point, we have the Relic, so why would you even want to upgrade it? Because that's just one more extra work. But it's just kind of. They can do a lot better, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Because it, I have love for the game, but seeing how what other people are saying and how it's kind of more or less how to put it. It's more or less kind of a way to keep people going in. If you really care so much about the game, you could probably log in maybe twice, 3 times a year. And that's if you just want to keep up on every major patches. And by that, I mean, you can probably log in every 4 months and you probably won't be missing much when it comes to the game. I can almost guarantee that because it has been about a year and 2 months, and we're just now getting exploration for crafting. We are just starting getting our relic weapons. You can argue that you missed the previous raid tier, the lightweight, and now we're in the middleweight. But again, if you're a casual player, okay, cool. That gives you about 120 quests. Well, maybe not 120. Because I think it is about 120 because you get about 100 for the main scenario, and then you have about 10 to 15 per patches. So you're looking at about maybe 120 or 130 quests to do if you just wait, for patches. Because even then, those quests that you get at the for the patches, you're still looking at, if you're just a casual player, you can probably do that in a weekend, and then you're just kind of waiting for the next extreme to do. Well, no, you don't even have to do the story mode. You can just do the extreme right then and there. But not only that, though, the weapons and gear that you get from the one dungeon that we get per expansion is kind of meh. I mean, it's an upgrade, sure, but at the same time, you can just farm you can get the crafting that's going to be better than it. You can then farm the new Savage that's going to be better than it. And so I understand that the point of it's for those players that don't do the Savages and don't do the Extreme, but it's still kind of like a mess. But it's a mess that I'm pretty sure that they should hopefully kind of fix. Now, like I say all this, and I'm more of a mid-core turned casual type gamer. Like I now hop in and I've started just to enjoy crafting and gathering. You see me doing dungeons, but those dungeons is just because I want to get the tomes in order to get the new relic weapon. But other than that, like I don't really do any of that stuff. Like it's just there for me to do if I ever want to. It is a fun game and all that, but just exactly like what is there to do? I get it. Well, you can do the exploration for crafters. Okay, I can do that, and I probably should do that sooner or later to get my crafting gear up. But my main problem about that is that crafting is solved, and if anything, I can just make sure I get the breakpoints, and I can probably get all that done in a matter of a afternoon. Maybe not an afternoon, but like in a weekend. And then, nothing else has really changed. I'm still waiting for stuff to come out. I have better gear, sure, but that's just going to be outclassed later on when the next new recipes and stuff comes out. So it's kind of like, I got it. It's there. Now what? But I guess that just goes to power creep and all of it, which is why, again, people that do the Savage tier, which, oh boy, I love watching Savage tier. I like people doing world first and doing all that fun stuff. But, like at the end of the day, they do that and they get ready to do it for the next week or next week for the next tier. And it's kind of like, all right, cool. We do it, now what? And so then the question would be, how would we end up and fix it? And I know a lot of people are saying, well, they can make it to so where that we can get two savages, two what are they called, ultimates in expansion packs. We can have more dungeons. Oh no, no. Speaking of dungeons, what I really want to see them to do is do something like what they're doing with the Foxhowl and make like hard mode savages versions of the 4-man dungeons, and not like what they had last expansion where that was fun. But what I'm talking about, there's more trash mobs, but the trash mobs hit harder. The mechanics, there's no like indicators for mechanics or like things like that. I think it'll be really fun to do. It might be a bit chaotic, but I think it'll be really fun to do in a kind of weird sadist type of way. But I think it'll be also be another avenue that casual players will be able to go through. And what I mean by that is that it'll be just like the variant dungeons to where it's just hard enough, but it's not too hard enough to where you have to sit down and study for it. Because most of these dungeons that we go through, we should be familiar with it. I mean, think about it, going through Sastasha, fully kitted out, like a remembrance things, having them wandering minstrel coming over to you. It's like, yes, I remember that time when you were just a wee little grasshopper. Let me retell you the tales of Shastasha. And then it's just kind of like a way to slowly, like, I don't know. It sounds stupid now that I think about it, but I think it probably won't be one of the fun things to do. I mean, we had Savage variants, which was okay. We had Savage Color Darkness, which was something. But I think the only problem with that was it kind of died so soon. I mean, it was there for one expansion, and it was just kind of gone. I did it. I didn't get it clear, so I have no talk on it one way or another. But it was still something to do, so I'm not too mad about that. But of course, I think, though, when it comes to it, at the end of the day, you need to figure out what you enjoy to do in Final Fantasy 14. Whether it's me just chilling doing dungeons or doing some other stuff with my static and whatnot, or if you like crafting and gathering, or if you like doing dungeons, it's going to be really hard in the next few coming weeks and patches to find stuff to do and find stuff for you to play the game. But I'm pretty sure if you just keep at it and if you enjoy it, I think that you will find that you still enjoy the game. Well, that's all I want to say. Thank you for listening. If you liked the video, like the video. If not, downvote it. And I will see you some other day. Take care, y'all.